I identify myself as a Blindian. That's a Black Indian. People always thought that I got better treatment because I was adopted. We would come across people, even schools, that didn't accept me because they were racist. I remember changing schools like 3 times before I was settled in a primary school. I had to basically draw the line when my mother passed away. This is my 2nd time losing a mom, so I would question like what is happening. My name is Sandile Ndumo and I am 31 years old. I grew up in Clare Estate in Wansbeck Road, that's in Durban, KZN. I grew up in a very unique setting because I was adopted. I had my biological mom who was the domestic helper and my parents who adopted me and my siblings. My fondest memory as a kid growing up is, I think, playing in the basement area of the house where we had a jacuzzi and entertainment area. And I remember my mom teaching me how to swim because she was a professional swimmer. Yeah. The circumstances of my adoption and if I understood what was happening, I don't think I understood as a younger child because obviously skin color, my mom was a very fair Indian lady, so I could see that we are different. And I would question why like the dynamic was the way it was. Why did I have 2 moms? I'd ask like, how come I'm calling Uma and mom? That's how I differentiate between the 2. And then how come I had 1 dad, which was my Indian dad? I didn't know my biological dad. And then where are all the other kids that look like me? So I would question like what is happening. Before I was even born, my mom had been working there for at least good 5 to 6 years. And then when she was pregnant with me, my parents were fully supportive of her pregnancy. And I think there was maybe a conversation about like who's the dad, and I was her 3rd child. So I do not have the same father as my other siblings. My parents did question that, and I know my mom did not want to speak about it. It was very taboo back then because my biological father is supposedly Mozambican. When I was due to be born, I know my brother was so excited. As soon as I was delivered, he was like, "Can we keep her?" That was literally his words. And my parents were like, "We'll see what we can do." And that's how I became part of the family. So the dynamics in the household, welcoming and relaxing, because I remember myself sleeping on the couch a lot and then being excited waiting for my dad to come home from work. And there's even like a structure in the house where there's a hole in the staircase, and he always says how I used to be excited like in my diapers and be like, "Dad's coming home," and I'd do like a little dance for him and be so excited that he's coming through those doors and I know he's coming. And then just having both my moms like on each side, like, and within each reach, I could like go to this mom, go to that mom whenever I had like conversations about, because I didn't know any Zulu growing up, because my Indian mom wanted me to learn Zulu. That was like, she said, "You are a Zulu kid, you need to learn your language." And it was the whole struggle of my biological mom, who was from Greytown, rural area, and she did not know any English. So she didn't want to speak Zulu because she wanted to learn English. So I remember there would be times where she'd speak to me in English and my Indian mom would be in the corner and like, "No, speak to her in Zulu." So then I'd have that back and forth and not understanding what's happening between the 2 of them. But I'd learned both languages, and of course I did learn English faster and Zulu was a bit harder. I would have some kids laugh because they wouldn't understand my full name and they'd like say Padiachi, like, "Why?" And some kids that are Indian that would know that surname, they would say, but why do you have that surname? So I would feel like guarded and intimidated because I don't know what to say to them, but I just openly usually say I'm adopted. And if they understood it, then they would be welcoming. If they didn't, then I would have a bit of conflict. And I think that's why I am an introvert by nature, and I am more enclosed with people just because I don't want to explain. So the naming dynamic is that Sandile was actually given by my Indian mom. And she did ask my real mom, what does that mean? And it means more. And because of that, she said it's fine. And because my mom was also an activist with gender-based violence, she was like, even if it's a boy's name, it's fine. Let's go with it. The name that my biological mom wanted to give me was Utemsile. And I actually find that now being married, it goes full circle because the name I was given for my Xhosa name was Utembela. So it came back. And then Padiachi was there as a middle name. But that's more so because I think back in apartheid days or when I was born, it was harder to get a double barrel name for a child. So my parents weren't allowed to put Padiachi as a surname. It's actually a middle name. Mzolo is my mother's maiden name, and that's the name I kept. However, I will say that when I don't mention my full name, people tend to treat me differently, like they would treat any Black person. But then as soon as I mention Padiachi in the name, then I'm treated differently. And maybe I would get the extra treatment because they're like, oh, okay. And then they would like not give me so much pressure or be hard on me because they're like, oh, and then they think I'm married to a Padiachi. Yeah. The relationship with my biological family. When I was a bit younger, our relationship, I wouldn't say was strong, but it was there in terms of mutually knowing who my mom's siblings were, who her parents were, because my granny and grandfather were still alive. And I did attend like their funerals. And it was a big loss when my grandmother died because my Indian mom felt like my grandmother basically gave permission to adopt me, like as umamkhulu. So that's how important my grandmother was. She played a very pivotal role. So happened that my grandmother was blind around the time that I was born. So I was the only grandchild she had never seen. So I would regularly visit my grandmother. I'd visit Greytown and I would go there maybe like once a year or twice a year at max. And then as I got older and as we progressed in life, I feel like the relationship was one-sided. So I feel I was reaching out on a how are you? And they were more on the what do you have? So I basically had to make that adult decision, which was very hard, to draw the line and say, I can't have this relationship if it's not mutual. And I feel like I'm always giving and I'm not getting anything back. And I didn't want anything physically. I just wanted emotional support sometimes. So at first I felt, so with this whole dynamic and the relationship between my real family and myself, I had to basically draw the line when my mother passed away. When my biological mom passed away, no one messaged me, no one reached out to check on me. And I really felt like they had that responsibility of just checking on me if I'm okay that I lost my mother. Yes, I had my Indian mom, but this was the lady that gave birth to me. She put me on this earth. So I felt like I needed that type of connection with them, just to say, hey, how are you doing? Are you coping? Because it was hard. I lost my mom when I was 14, and I think I only grieved her later in life. So it got harder when I got older, because then I realized, okay, she's not coming back. I think when I was younger, I had school and other things distracting me, and I didn't really think about it. But as I got older, it became harder. And then that's when I became more angry that they didn't reach out. And then that's when I decided to end the relationship with them, because I felt like it was one-sided. So because of the loss of my mom, I felt like that was a heavy fall for that family, because my mom was umamkhulu, and she was the eldest out of all the siblings and first child for my grandparents. So she basically was doing everything for them financially. And that was like a huge shift for them, because my mom kept everything going. And I think like it felt like maybe they thought I was going to do that next, because I was her daughter. And because of the situation I was in terms of being adopted. But I was only 14. So my adoptive family they've always been supportive. So when my mom's funeral happened, my brother took leave from work, came from Joburg, and he had to attend that funeral, because my mom came, I think, when he was young. So that was his mom. And he'd always say that. And he made sure he even spoke at her funeral. And my parents played a role in terms of financially assisting them with the funeral arrangements. We offered them assistance in terms of even getting them back on their feet, in terms of getting them jobs. But you can only help people so much. And you basically have to take those tools, those skills, and do what you can with them. So I feel along the way, it didn't work out for them. So the decision my parents had made, or my mom had made, giving me up for adoption, I've never not felt loved from day one. I've never felt different. I've never felt unwelcomed. I've always felt safe in their spaces, even up till now. I even have memories of my dad fighting other people in his family because they said I'm the maid's daughter. And he did not take that well. He wanted people to call me his daughter, and that was it. So I've always felt protected and loved, and I've never had a day of doubt being in the family. My mom was very vocal and very bold. So she would often say that you will come across racist people. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. And because she's Indian, she'd say, I know they are racist Indians. And I'm not going to downplay it for you. And we would come across people, even schools, that didn't accept me because they were racist. I remember changing schools like 3 times before I was settled in a primary school. I don't know what the excuse is. I just know hopping around. So with the schools, I think I had a lot of moments coming back home and crying and saying they were teachers or students that were racist towards me, or that were giving me a hard time. Family members that felt different, or that didn't like me or did not like the setup. My parents would easily just say, you are not welcomed if that's how you feel. There were friends of theirs who would even warn them and say that, taking on this responsibility is like a lot. Are you ready for it? And they'd warn them about it. And my parents would say, well, we'll see if anything is going to happen. I'm sure people always thought that I got better treatment because I was adopted. I think the difficult part about being an adoptee would be navigating culturally, like in terms of You know, in school, you always hear people talking about, let's just say, omemulo and umhlonyana and all of those things. And then myself not understanding or not really feeling like I belong, because it's like, should I be doing that? Do I need to do that? Would something happen to me if I don't do those things, you know? Especially traditional stuff. I did not get umemulo, and I did not get mhlonyana. Mhlonyana is when you like less than a teenager and you coming of age, I think when you get your period. And then umemulo is when you're 21 and you've abstained from, yeah. I identify myself as a Blindian. So that's a Black Indian. I feel like I'm not your conventional Black girl. Not only because I'm adopted, I feel like I'm drawn towards Hinduism and the art of Hinduism even. I even did Bharatanatyam, which is an Indian classical dance. And when I sing Indian songs, I feel like maybe like that's where I'm supposed to be. Like I feel safe and I love it. And I feel when I'm trying to sing, for example, Zulu songs, I feel like I'm trying too hard. I don't know, but that's just me. I just feel like I fit in spiritually in Hinduism somehow. I've never tried to reach out to my biological dad. I know that he was in KZN Durban and that's how he met my mom. And then I do have memory of my dad trying to come to take me away from my mom when I was less than 10 years old though, because I just remember myself standing at the gate and I was crying because I was worried about what's happening and I've never seen this man before. And my mom was defeated, screaming, crying for my parents to tell them to please help because he can't take me away. And then that's about the only memory I have of my dad. My vision for life, right? I always saw myself having an Indian wedding, no matter who I was going to marry. Never particularly thought I'd marry an Indian man, but I always had this idea that I'd be in this traditional sari, hair plaited or in a bun, flowers. I had this picture of Goa, India, and I wanted to get married there. Yeah, having this traditional music and the dancing and all of that, I had that vision and I really wanted to bring it to life. But at the same time, I wanted like an outdoor wedding, so I had to play around with that. And for life, I basically, would like to, if finances are good, adopt a child. That is the goal, because I feel what my parents did for me is beautiful, and I would adopt outside of my race. I would happily take any child, honestly. Yeah. I would like to give back to a child because there are so many children out there that are abandoned or not wanted, and I would like to give a child the upbringing I had. Where they don't have to worry about the next meal, clothes, all of that, and provide for that child and love them with my all and raise them in our home the way we are basically doing life, however that may look. I love that my parents never restricted me from exploring other cultures. My parents never told me to be a Hindu. They never cared what I wanted to practice or do. They would just say, I would support you open-heartedly and I want to do that for my children one day. And I love that they did that for me because I got to experience traditional Zulu things and Indian stuff, and I know where I fit in now. So I want that for my child to express or to see where they fit in, and I don't want to actually choose that for them. So I'd love to do that for my future kids one day. And I also myself mentally, I think my ancestors are like a mix of my Indian parents and my Zulu parents. So I know it's like a mix of both that are watching over me. So why I chose an Indian wedding. So it was not a total Indian wedding. The first part of our ceremony was the Indian traditional wedding. And that went well, like in terms of the conversation with my husband and my in-laws. They were okay with that because they felt like as a Zulu bride would leave her home doing Zulu traditional things and her parents giving her away, it is the same in this case where I am doing and honoring what my parents raised me with, and I am being put into the new family that way. Yeah. So they were welcoming and happy about it. And then the second part of our wedding was the reception that entailed the African culture. So that's where I incorporated my husband's side of traditional things. And we also did go to the Eastern Cape to do utsiki. And then that was like his traditional wedding. So yeah, that's how I incorporated everything. My husband did pay lobola. He came home many months before to have a conversation with my father before the date was even set. And he came with his family, and they came to discuss dowry, which is what my parents would call it, yeah, and how it would work out. And yeah, my mom and I were very close. In the beginning though, I always say that I was daddy's girl. And then as I got older, because dad didn't like you putting makeup and short dresses and things like that, then I became mom's girl. As I got older and understood life, and then I needed mom. I think I'd spend most of my weekends with mom wherever she would go for work things and her NGOs and stuff. I would always be by her side. We became even closer in the latter years leading up to her diagnosis. My mom was diagnosed with cancer, and then there was this timeline because now we know that mom doesn't have much time. So I was the child that was at home. My siblings had graduated, so they had moved overseas or in Johannesburg, and I was the one that was physically there. So I basically looked after my mom. I had to basically put on my parent shoes on, and yeah, I was her caretaker, and I loved every moment of it because it felt like I had all the time with my mom. For whatever time she had left, I got to be with her, and I don't regret it. Yeah. My mom's passing affected me very bad. It still is a hard one. I'm still trying to navigate through life. I miss her so much because she played an important role in my upbringing. If there was anyone that I want to learn from or be like, it's like my mom. I don't even have words to express what type of woman she is, but when you meet her or when she enters a room, everyone knows. And that's the type of vibe I want to have one day. And it's sad that she's not around, but I will continue to make her proud and keep shining for her. And yeah, I hope she's listening. A message that I would say to my mom if she was here is, hey, look at me, I'm in front of a camera and I'm speaking about my life. Because she would not believe it, because as I said, I'm very closed off. So the fact that I'm doing this is like a huge achievement, and I think she'd be proud that I'm speaking firmly about my upbringing, and I'm speaking proudly about it. Yeah. My relationship with my dad and my siblings now is good, strong. I think now I'm at an age where I can talk freely with my siblings because there was that huge age gap before. But now I can actually have adult conversations with them. So the grief does get a bit better because we can relate. We all, however, are worried about my dad because he was married for more than 30 years with my mom, and he is struggling. And we don't know how it feels because we've never been married for that long. So we are also just trying to balance out life in terms of trying to understand him, be patient with him, because this is all new to all of us. This is my second time losing a mom, but I will say that losing a mom now at this age is so much harder than back then. It's heavier now because I'm married. So one, I would have loved to have my mom around for that. And my dad does not understand. When I one day want to have a child, I think about that and how my mom is not going to be there. So yeah, we still navigating. Cultural and traditional differences that I was raised with. When I go into like a shopping center, I know that people, like when I was with my dad also, people would assume that I can speak Zulu, and on purpose I won't speak back even though I can. But I do it deliberately because how do you assume that just because I look like this that I speak Zulu? What if I was from another African country? Yeah, I feel like people always are used to tell me how to do certain things in terms of culture or traditions. And I'd always say, but my parents didn't do it that way. And I'd always follow what my parents taught me because my parents weren't the traditional Hindu people. We would only celebrate Diwali. We would only do Lakshmi prayers. And that's about it. We won't do every single prayer that people do. Yeah, and I still carry on those traditions, yeah. So navigating through the different cultures with my marriage and with my adoptive family, I think I'm a team player. I think I'm also just the girl that I can maneuver through any situation because I actually do like going to my mother-in-law's house where I have to wear ikhiya and put a scarf around my waist. I vlog about it. I like dressing up in that way to show respect for my mother-in-law and her home. And at the same time, I will dress full glam for a Diwali celebration when I'm at home, and my husband will also wear I'll get him an Indian shirt to put on so he can come and light firecrackers at home. So I think I'm just versatile, and I love just exploring all the cultures. So it doesn't really matter to me, it doesn't bother me. So the advice I'd give people that are in my situation is that we know life is not linear. So trying to understand what's happening is going to be hard, and you're going to keep trying to find answers. And maybe you won't even get it. But life could be way worse. I mean, you are in this adoptive home for a reason. And I feel like in my circumstance, I know my mom wasn't going to afford to raise me. I was going to have a hard upbringing in terms of education, infrastructure, and things that I know that are in Greytown. And my mom wasn't going to even see me that often because she was going to come and work in Durban. So I am grateful that I was adopted because now I was living in a home where both my parents were there. They both were working, both were studying even. Achieving things, and I got to see that, and it got me motivated and encouraged me to study further. And I feel like how in friendships also we have different cultures and different backgrounds and all of that. That's what's going to happen in your home, but it shouldn't scare you. I feel it should actually excite you because it's interesting. The dynamic is interesting. I know some homes you may be going to be adoptive adopted into a family, maybe you think there are struggles in that family, but what family does not have struggles? What family does not have fights and arguments, or somebody that has a problem or whatever, mental problems, or I don't know, but there's always these issues that happen, but it's every family. So whether you are adopted or not, I feel that gives you something to work towards. You're going to drive yourself so you can get away from wherever you are. And that's not the final destination. Take it and use it and do something about it, I feel. Yeah. What would I say to my mom and biological grandmother? I would thank them. I would say thank you for, one, bringing me onto this earth safely, and for not rejecting my parents and the whole situation, for not fighting it and letting it be, because now I am the person I am, and I am where I am because of it. And I'm so grateful that I've gotten this opportunity. And I feel like if they stopped it many years back then, I wouldn't be here. And yeah, I'm so grateful for them. And I know that they're watching over me wherever they are and leading me in the right spaces. And yeah, I'm grateful for, yeah.